Okay, family, Lord Eric Steele, aka Big Rossi Love, here in another episode of FBA All Day. I'm going to be addressing some questions. I received some emails. The most popular emails, of course, I will be addressing those today. The main one we got that came in overwhelmingly in the past week or so has been, what do you think about the stabbing in Texas? That incident is regarding the youngsters down there in high school. It's going to take some deciphering. This one is going to take some deciphering, and we're going to have to really watch it because the dominant society is trying to play a double-sided coin here. Okay. Now I'll explain it to you, and then I'll give you some examples of the double-sided from these folks. Okay. This is the gist of what I've understood to this point. Okay. There were two individuals. They were at a track meet, and according to the information I have, it was raining, and the young man, Carmelo Anthony, he was under a tent. Now, there's no assigned seatings. This is not one school sit here, one school sit there. It wasn't that kind of a thing, from what I understand. But it was raining. The young man was seeking shelter. The other individual didn't want him there. He only wanted his people there, according to what I've been told. And that's fine. If you don't want somebody there, I'm not even going to delve in or try to divulge into why he didn't want this particular person to be there. Even though the boy, Carmelo Anthony, is black and this other fellow is white. I'm not going to say it was a black or white thing, but for some reason, he felt that Carmelo shouldn't be under the tent. So he tried to move him one time, and Carmelo told him, don't put your hands on me. If you put your hands on him, put your hands on me again, and you're gonna find out, something to that effect. Or put your hands on, touch me again, and you're gonna see. Now, here's one thing you know about our people. We have our points. All of us have a point, especially FBA. We have a point. We don't like to be touched. I don't know why the dominant society likes to think that they have dominion over us. They have control over us for some reason. But that inherently seems like this was the bullying mindset of this young kid. He didn't want the kid there, so he's going to enforce his will. He didn't seek for a coach to tell this guy to move. He didn't go and seek for a trainer or somebody to ask this guy to move. No, he's going to move him himself. He just took it upon himself to put his hands on another person. You can't do that. Nobody can do that. Nobody's allowed to do that. So regardless where everything happens from there, start right there. He had no business putting his hands on somebody else. I'm pretty sure he's not Carmelo Anthony's father. I'm pretty sure Carmelo Anthony wasn't entrusted to him to guardian over. I'm pretty sure that was not the case. So he's in the wrong right there. He's in the wrong. As soon as he put his hands on that boy, he was in the wrong. When you do something where you put yourself in the wrong, you have to deal with what is considered the consequences. You are responsible for the consequences you brought upon yourself. It would have been the same thing if that boy would have knocked him out. He would have brought the knockout upon himself. But everybody's not capable of the knockout. Physical exertion is not always the way it goes. Okay? It doesn't go that way. We train our kids, the majority of FBA people that I know of children, we train our children to keep your hands to yourself. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. You don't put your hands on no one. And no one should be putting their hands on you. You have the right to your personal space. You have the right to defend your person. No one is allowed to touch you like that. This other kid, the kid that unfortunately passed, he was not in any position of authority. He wasn't granted security level clearance authority to touch people randomly that he feels like it. He was nobody's father there. He didn't have any children running at that track meet. Why did he feel like he needed to move Carmelo Anthony? That's where we should start. His mindset. Why did he feel like he needed to move this boy? They can start there. But that's regardless now because of the situation that's happened. He had no right to touch that boy. He was in that boy's personal space. He physically touched him. Anthony is entitled to, without question, the right to defend himself. He has that right. They're so quick to say they have rights to defend themselves, and then they want to act like they don't know what that same statement means when it refers to our people. There's your double-sided coin. The dominant society is notorious for this type of thinking. We just had a guy not too long ago out here in New York. He was acting, I want to say boisterous. He was being loud on a train. But he wasn't directly affecting any personal passengers, especially not the one that came up behind him and choked him to death. Choked the man out to death. Now, the man that got choked was black. And the man that choked him just happened to be white. The white guy was not being accosted. The black guy didn't even address him directly. But he felt the need to reach over and choke the black guy out until he died. And they let him off on a self-defense case. Even though he wasn't being accosted. Nobody even touched him, but he had the right to kill the black man. He had the right, and they let him off on that. You see the double-sided coin here? The black man didn't even touch him, and he was allowed to go free after killing somebody. He literally killed somebody that wasn't bothering him. So if you have the right to defend yourself against someone who's not even touching you, come on. And that's two grown men. We're talking about teenagers now. These boys have they're learning. They're learning. Okay? They're still learning. You can't be expecting the highest expectations from children. What you can tell them on a very basic level is, keep your hands to yourself. My grandson is barely turning 6, and he knows not to walk around hitting people and pushing people. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. How hard is that? It's definitely self-defense. There's no question about it. Self-defense. Okay, let's take it a step further. We had the case in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, with Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse, even though his mother was lying, if this was a just world, his mother would have been arrested too. She lied and said she had no idea that Kyle was there. When the truth came out, not only did she know, she transported her son across state lines. She took him over there with a gun. She took her son to a protest. There was a live protest in effect. They were protesting, our people were protesting police brutality. And another incident that had happened that had taken someone's life. They were protesting. They weren't armed. They were just walking around protesting. Kyle's mom decided it was a good idea to give her son a loaded gun and take him across state lines to the protest. They didn't live there. That protest had nothing to do with them, other than the fact that they want to say they support law enforcement. There was all types of instances during that night of people saying that Kyle Rittenhouse ran up on them, pointing that rifle at them. People that were not threatening him, people that he had no business interfering with at all. Kyle Rittenhouse is not an officer. He wasn't a security guard. He wasn't even a damn Boy Scout running around offering medical attention to people that he's no nurse. He ain't certified to administer nothing. That was just a way for him to interact with some people. And then if they would have came off on him, then, that would have been their fault, not his fault. He had no business being there, not even at that time of night. Okay? So when some people went after Kyle with that gun, and he turned around and killed 2 people. 2 unarmed people at that. He shot and killed 2 people, died, messing with Kyle Rittenhouse. He had no business out there with a gun in the first place, but they say, that's his Second Amendment. He has the right to defend himself, even though he put himself in a situation he wasn't supposed to be in. That had nothing to do with him. To this day, they can't tell you what he was doing there. He going to help police, or police need help from that young boy, from a young boy. They need help from him. They don't need to call another unit, or they don't need to call another department and have them bring somebody who can understand what's going on in that crowd. No, we need this young boy who can't even get his own self to the protest. We need him to come out here and help us. That's nonsense. He went there looking for trouble. That's what his mother took him there for. What else was she taking him there for? What else would she take him to an active protest? What would she take him there for? They were there looking for trouble. That's what they went there looking for. And I'll show you how the differences are. There is a female, I want to say she is, I want to call her a journalist, but if that's her title, she's horrible. She does no research. Her name is Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly had this tweet about Kyle Rittenhouse. She had this tweet. Now remember, he didn't live in that area. He was driven to that area with his mother with a loaded firearm to go to a protest where the protesters were not armed. But he showed up with an AR-15 with his mother. Okay? Now listen to how Megyn Kelly tries to make it seem like, oh, this poor boy, oh, he was just a poor boy defending himself. Listen to her now. Listen to her. Listen to her right here.
That has captured national attention. The now 18-year-old stands accused of intentionally murdering 2 people and trying to murder a third at a Black Lives Matter riot in August 2020 in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That riot took place in the wake of the lawful police-involved shooting of Jacob Blake, a man resisting arrest who pulled a knife on cops, who was then shot 7 times by an officer. Days later, then 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse went to Kenosha to protect the city from the planned riot, burning, and looting. He was given an AR-15 by a friend in Kenosha and was heard on tape saying he wanted to help act as a medic and to keep the peace. Chaos ensued, and Kyle shot 3 people. For over a year, the media has condemned this kid as a vigilante domestic terrorist who went on an unjustified killing spree. No open-mindedness to his claim of self-defense, nor the videotapes that clearly back that up, or to his story that he went to Kenosha that evening to stop the lawless behavior of others when police would not or could not.
That is the difference. That is the difference. You see? You see how she makes him seem like he was just this poor little boy. He's just this poor little boy. Now, look how she's talking about the boy. Carmelo Anthony's younger than Kyle Rittenhouse was. Look how she's talking about him. Look how she's talking about him now. Listen.
What kind of rage and emptiness, I guess, is in the heart of a boy who would stab another young man in the heart for asking for his seat back? I mean, that the hair trigger that would be required there, the bundle of anger and just a lack of any engagement in society, any commitment to the social contract by which we all live, right? This is just so beyond the pale. Like, murders happen, and we understand that's a part of life, unfortunately. People have vendettas against one another. There are serial killers out there. People get angry and overreact, but that usually, Michael, you can see the circumstances. You're not justifying it, but you understand, okay, it was manslaughter, it was the heat of passion, or it was some gang hit, or it was a mob hit, or it was, just some sort of long vendetta between the two, or it was a cheating spouse. There's something where you don't accept, but you can at least understand. But you see something this vile and empty in meaning. And you do, as that father did, look at the perpetrator and say, how was he raised? Where was his family? What was seen or not seen about him before he was unleashed on society to the point where he could do this to an innocent kid he was across from? Who takes out a knife and stabs another in the heart as their first response to an empty or not empty seat?
Do you see? Do you see it? And they'll be so quick to say, oh, this is not about race. Has everything to do with race. It has everything to do with race. We can say definitively when it comes to her in a dominant society, it definitely has to do with race. We can't say for sure if race played the part in the actual incident, but the way she covers these stories, it definitely has to do with race. No question. She's supposed to be a professional journalist. You think she doesn't know the truth? She knows when she's leaning to one side or the other. Of course she does. You would be a moron not to believe that. She knows exactly what she's doing. We have to protect our children. There's so much money's taken in to help defend this kid, and that's the right thing to do. Even his father could not come out and say definitively, that Carmelo Anthony did anything wrong. And it's because he didn't. Because he has another son, and he wants his other son to be able to defend himself as well. Keep your hands off of people. If ain't nobody bothering you, keep your hands to yourself. Carmelo Anthony had every right to defend himself. He has every right. He still does. Right is right, wrong is wrong. It's not about black and white. It's supposed to be about justice, which is what FBA All Day is all about. This is my take, okay? From the facts, from what we have, and they set the precedent. The dominant society set the precedent. In the Kyle Rittenhouse case, the judge didn't even want the people who were killed to be called victims. They set the precedent. They set the precedent. You understand? If Kyle Rittenhouse can come armed to an unarmed protest and kill 2 people in self-defense, Carmelo Anthony can definitely defend himself against somebody putting their hands on him at a track meet. Definitely. He didn't mean to kill the boy, mind you. He didn't intend on killing. He wanted that boy not to touch him. And he warned him. He warned him. Touch me and find out. That's called a warning. You got to be really Billy Bad Butt to want to go and push that issue in today's climate. When a person says, touch me and find out, that person ain't playing. Somebody that you don't know. If they say, touch me and find out, you are taking your own life in your hands. You are responsible for your own actions. Touch me and find out in this case means touch me and I'm going to stab you. I'm going to defend myself. Do not come in my personal space. Don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me. You have the right to defend yourself. And don't forget, Texas is a stand your ground state. You don't have to retreat. You don't have to retreat. Understand your ground. Don't touch me. It's very simple. We don't like to be touched. Anyway, this is your boy, Big Eric Steele. I'm going to keep breaking these videos down. I appreciate all the emails and questions coming in. I would like to invite you to subscribe to all the videos. You can send any questions in to this email address. And check out my site at FBAAllday.net. You can also have access to our FBA t-shirts and merchandise. FBA All Day, we're going to continue to bring you this justice and understanding for our people. It's your boy, Lord Eric Steele. We love you. One.